one of the more important steps in this process, which Garrett has also mentioned, occurred in 1782 when Baltimore town got the authority to levy its own property taxes. And as Joseph Barnum, late Joseph Barnum, pointed out, it was this change that made annexation of territory in Baltimore County problematic. Because once Baltimore's tax rate was cut loose from the county's tax rate, it inevitably rose above it. And thereafter, to be annexed carried a real financial price. And so annexation became a hot issue. I want to talk in particular about these two episodes in the history of annexation, not because they were influential in shaping our joint history, but precisely because they point to a history that never happened, a road not taken. Once in the early 19th century, and again in the early 20th century, proposals were introduced to create a kind of intermediate status that would allow some of the more urbanized portions of Baltimore County to receive the limited urban services that they thought they needed, while paying only a small fraction of city taxes when under law. I'm going to concentrate on the 19th century episode because it was the one that was actually implemented. The 20th century version was introduced into the General Assembly 3 times and also defeated 3 times, largely by politicians from Baltimore County. But both of these versions are based on the same idea. They gave urbanizing areas of the county the opportunity to ease into urbanism instead of making the transition all at once and suddenly facing the full burden of city taxes. I think that if that evolutionary model of annexation had been adopted and sustained, Baltimore City today might be very different from what it is now. It could conceivably extend from Hopkinsville to Glen Burnie and from Randallstown to Essex. I realize that this prospect may seem monstrous to some people. I think it might also deal with some benefits as well. One thing, the fixed costs associated with some city services could have been spread over a larger population. Second, we might have done better than we did in achieving racial integration in public schools. And third, perhaps with a larger and more diverse population, city politics would have become more competitive, and that competition might have mobilized a far larger percentage of citizens and voters than are active today. That turnout in recent Baltimore City elections